Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just What I am playing Final Fantasy XIV. Now, last episode we finished off the World of Darkness in a very anticlimactic way where I DC'd at the end of the final boss battle. That was cool. Anyway, we managed to finish all of that off, and today we're going to go and begin doing the Hildibrand questline. Now before we do that, apparently this dude still has a level 1 quest. Which I didn't see because, you know, the Hildibrand thing was over it. Anyway, so, are you taken to a Darlin, right? I don't know your name. Information in my stock and trade venture. You're amazed by what I know. Long as you're here, mayhap you can do me a favor and take this missive to Josias at the Platinum Mirage, just over yonder, and the man will give you some gil for your trouble. If only all work in the city was as easy, eh? Let me go and just deliver this, and I'll be done with that. You don't have anything else either, right? No, just the wave the samurai. Ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Do you have business with the Platinum Mirage today? Have this. A missive from Wymond. Alright then, let's have a look. Bird is barren that the hound feast. Ugh, so it goes. Oh, this? Well, you see, the guild is often contracted to provide protective services. Unfortunately for this particular petitioner, Wymond's investigation has revealed his finances to be wanting. Maybe adventurers like you don't mind working for free, but we have a business to run. I, myself, have 4 mouths to feed, so this bird will have to fend for himself, I'm afraid. Cool, there we go. Now we have done all the quests to Hilda. All the normal ones in any case. Right. Let's go and actually do the... Start the Hildibrand quest line. Like you've been busy as a beadlin. Seems half the whispers that what come my way relate to your coming and goings. Being the active type you are, I reckon you'd be interested in investigating some queer rumors, am I right? But before that, let me ask, ever heard of a man named Hildibrand? No. To hear him tell it, he was Eorzea's greatest and most famous inspector. Still, can't say I'm surprised you don't know him. To his credit, Hildibrand and his assistants had a knack for showing up when something shady was afoot. As for sussing out the culprits, well, he had his moments, though I hesitate to give him sole credit. Any road 5 years ago, it gets it in his head that he's cracked the code of Messiah's 7th verse, Dalamut the Calamity. All of it can be stopped, he says, so long as he finds the hero of prophecy, and wouldn't you know it, the hero was Hildibrand himself. So he flies off towards Dalamut. Aye, that's right, he flew, launched himself straight into the air somehow. Ridiculous as it sounds, of course, it's only logical that he's come back down. Though it was only recently that we found his body. That reason for bringing this up? Alright, so Nasha, Hildibrand's erstwhile assistant, has since become an inspector in her own right. At present, she's investigating the queer rumours I mentioned earlier. She's a sweet lass, a bit daft, but sweet nonetheless, so when I hear she's at a wit's end, I want to help. Thing is, I prefer not to meddle in the affairs of the living. Zombies, or most definitely not my forte. So if you're willing, I'd be grateful if you lent her a hand. As for where to find her, she'd like to visit Hildibrand's grave in the Lich Guard when she's frustrated. Try looking for her there first. Oh, if only you were still alive, Inspector. You'd know how to stop these zombies. Ah, you there. Could it be... You've come to offer your services to me? Oh, but where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nashu, Agent of Inquiries, Extraordinary Inspector. At least that's what I'm trying to be. It's not quite as easy as you made it look. Inspector Hildibrand was a great man, a real Eorzean hero. We traveled the world, me and him, solving cases and spotting evil. No matter the mystery, we could always count on the Inspector to solve it with grace and style. But then there was the final case. The case of the century, he called it. How to stop the Red Moon from destroying the world. To save us all, he flew into the sky, and all I could do was watch. But then he came back down, and he This is all a joke. A big funny joke, right, Inspector? Any moment now, you'll burst out of the ground and shout, "Surprise! Had you fooled, eh?" And we'll laugh and laugh. Hildibrand, Manderville, beloved son. They say no one remembers the Warriors of Light. Their names, their faces, all gone forever. But I remember you, Inspector. No, Gentleman Hero Hildibrand. I can never be the hero you were, but I'll do my best to try. I, Nasher, Inspector Extraordinaire, will carry on your legacy. Okay. Thanks, game, for... whatever. So I told myself, well, Nasher, there must be a leader, a head zombie, who tells the rest what to do. Therefore, all we need to do is kill him. Again, that is. Unfortunately, I don't know where he is, or how to find him. But now that you're here, my faithful assistant, you can try the one good idea I've come up with so far. If you go to where these dapper zombies were last seen in southern Thailand, you might find them. And then you could become their friend and ask to meet their leader. Yes, that's sure to work. Right, so now we get to... This is something very interesting. So I was wondering for a long time, like, why does this one fate constantly respawn? Why? Well, the reason why the fate that should normally be over here respawns really frequently is because it is related to this quest line. However, fortunately for me, it's not here now. So I am going to meet you guys... Adventurers and throat slitting? Jeez. I will meet you guys back here once it has appeared. Really. Here I am. Reason why this is also fast, I would say, is because there were already 2 people over here. I think 3 even. There's already like 3 people, or 2 in any case. Not just waiting for this fate to spawn and doing it. So I needed to be fast as fuck. So my priority to press the record button was lower. I hate that so much. I just in general hate fates, they're annoying. Anyway, there we go. It's kind of weird how some of these people, like, this person over here is, I think, holding an ultimate weapon. Like a ridiculous freaking weapon. I don't understand why they haven't done Hildibrand already, but well, whatever, man. To each their priorities, I guess. Did you find the zombies? You did. That's wonderful. I've been busy too. The head zombie will rue the day he meets me, you'll see. So tell me, what did you learn? Read upon this map of the Sagoli Desert in a... Wait. Read upon this map of the Sagoli Desert in a flamboyant, flowing hand are the words, "A gentleman is," rather than "does." Oh, so you weren't able to make new friends. That's a shame. But this parchment, this is a map of the Sagoli Desert. There's a spot marked here in the south. And look, there's something written here. "A gentleman is rather than does." It sort of reminds me of, well, no matter. Let's see where this map takes us, assistant. Onwards, to the Sagoli. Deep in the Sagoli Desert. I don't think I've misread the map. Maybe they're just shy, though. I say we call out to them and let them know we come in peace. And when the leader shows himself, we strike. Gentleman is rather than duds. Who summons the gentle dead men? They live, and we hunger. My brothers, lend me your ears. A gentleman does not dine upon his guests. Spare these two fair ladies your mastications. Withdraw, I say, and harass them no more. Up in the sky, look, it's a bird. No, it's an airship. No, it's the inspector. We hear and we obey. Nice landing, bro. It is you, it really is you. I knew nothing could kill the great Inspector Hildibrand. Hildibrand? Who is this Hildibrand of whom you speak? My name is Zombiebrand, devourer of brains, undead overlord extraordinaire. What are you saying? You're not an undead overlord, you're a gentleman inspector. Inspector overlord, Inspector overlord. Oh, Inspector, you're just confused is all. Don't worry, I'll knock some sense back into that noggin of yours. Stay your hand, milady. You know not what you do. Even if I were the esteemed gentleman you purport me to be, the concussive force of the blast is more likely to liquefy my... If crashing into the ground made you forget, then an explosion of equal force ought to make you remember. I'll save you, Inspector. Or kill you trying. See, even you acknowledge the possibility that this plan will result in my... death. Also, be prepared to see like the most wonky cutscenes in the entire game. Just that's this entire freaking line. This entire quest line. With like this goofy sounds too, so be prepared. Normally I would applaud your ingenuity, Nashi, but I would have preferred that you found a more elegant solution. Ah, he remembers me. Inspector Hildibrand remembers me. Yes, I remember you, my faithful assistant. What I do not quite remember is how I came to be here. Time to use the power of the echo to get everything explained really easily. Taken fit. What? Just get out of here. Ah, such a wonderful dream. I slew a dragon and... what is this place? And for that matter, who am I? I love this cutscene. It's like, yeah, buddy, I'm sorry. You're dead, bro. I love this. It's one of my favorite cutscenes out of all of them. I, Hildibrand, agent of Enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, have awoken at last. I always knew you'd come back to us. Be it Red Moon or Black Dragon, no fiend is a match for my legendary might. And who might this fine lady be? Could she perhaps be one of my many admirers? Oh, but what is this faint tingling sensation in my arm? This ringing in my ears, this dizziness, could it be a case? Verily, it could be naught else. Somewhere nearby, dastardly doings are afoot, and only I can thwart them. Copious quantities of sand, unbearable heat. Aha, the Sagoli Desert. I'd bet my life on it. Which means Ulda is but a short trek away. Yes, it all fits. Only that den of iniquity could so violently trigger my keen investigator sense. Fear not, law-abiding citizen. Inspector Hildibrand shall soon deliver you from evil. Oh. Oh, okay. I was about to arrest them, but they decided to release, as they call it. Where am I going? Over this way. Beg your pardon, you wish to question me as to the whereabouts of that deviant running about town dressed in rags? Do I look like a reporter for the Mithril Eye? I do not consort with perverts. With perverts. Sorry. Alright. What, you're looking for a half-naked Highlander what likes to catch criminals? Think I'd remember a thing like that. If you don't manage to find this inspector friend of yours, tell him to do something about that goddamn duelist. My mate's pa's cousin's kid's best friend lost his blade the other day to that bastard. Sorry, lass, but if it's information you want, you'd be served best by going to Wymond. The only rumors I've heard are those about the weapon safe. Calls himself a duelist or so here. But when you don't allow your opponent to refuse, well... Peloton plus sprint, gotta go fucking fast! How much does it increase your movement speed? It doesn't tell you the percentage. Hello, Wymond. I take it you've dealt with that zombie problem, eh? So, do tell me. Just why were they dressing up like dandies? Wymond, hey, Wymond! That almighty bugger me with a bleeding spear, the dead of risen, and they're walking the streets of Ulda. No need for melodrama, my good man. As you can see, reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. It's true, he's not a zombie. I checked. Aye, you doomsayed me ill and healthy, which begs the question, how in the seven else did you survive that fall? Why question divine providence? What matters is that Eorzeus champion has returned, and that he, and by that I mean I, shall bring this thieving duelist to justice. Heard about that, did you? Might be harder than you think. Even I've got no inkling of that fellow's current whereabouts. Inconceivable. I refuse to believe that the ever-inquisitive, ever-ambitious, ever-reliable Wymond is without a single shred of information, even one of dubious relevance. Well, I make no promises, mind you, but there was some talk of a fair maiden, what said her most... This knave assaulted a young woman as well? The audacity! I should fly to her side at... Why, if it isn't the lady from the Sagoli? A serendipitous encounter indeed, unless you too seek the belligerent duelist. Capital. I will be invigorating to engage in a friendly battle of wits. Already the spirit of competition fills me. Come, Nachu, we must away. Damn it, Hildy. I ain't told you the lass's name yet. Well then, you might as well go after him. He'll be disappointed if you don't. The lady in question is named Yellow Moon. She's a woman with a taste for the finer things in life. Safe to say you'll find her getting fitted for something in the Weaver's Guild most of every day. Good luck with the Inspector. Wow, 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 wow. Alright, to the Weaver's Guild, away! What the hell are all these boxes here? What in the 7Ls are these? My beloved pure heart was unlike anyone you've ever seen, elegant, refined, the perfect accessory for any cultured woman. You will bring it back to me, won't you? A priceless possession, callously ripped from the hands of its owner. The lady weeps, and the wind bears her sorrow in to his ears. What gentleman could hear this clarion call and not beg the honor of championing her cause? What in the world? I swear to you here now, I, Hildibrand, agent of Enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, shall scour all creation from the deepest pits of the seventh hell to the very pinnacle of the heavens, for your pure heart. What he said. And you, my fellow servant of justice, I see your instincts are not to be underestimated, having guided you to this fair maiden's side. Now then, Miss Moon, what can you tell us of the theft? Thefts, sir, to be precise. My pure heart was only the most recent item to be taken from me. I'm certain I had it when I left home the other day, after I browsed the latest fashions at Sunsilk and took in a match at the Coliseum. I realized it was gone. So, the time and location of the theft are unknown, essential details without which we cannot solve the case. There is but one logical course of action, Miss Moon. To coax the hidden clues from your memories, we must reenact that fateful day's excursion. 2 Sunsilk tapestries. Two Sunsilk tapestries, then. On the steps of Nard. I love that. Right. Also, by being a bard for this quest, I think, I didn't even tell about it, but in any case, I'm gonna be a bard for most of this quest. Because I like the glamour, and I also get Peloton in towns, so. Miss Moon, would you be so kind as to describe your visit in detail on the day in question? Nothing unusual happened, but if you insist, I was pondering whether or not to purchase a new dress, when a man approached me and confessed his undying love. What sort of man says that to a complete stranger, I ask you? Naturally, I was taken aback. I dropped my purse in shock, not intentionally, on his foot, and he cried out in pain and fled. If I may be so bold, Miss Moon, that strikes me as a most unusual happening. In any case, it appears to be completely unrelated to the theft. Let us next proceed to the Coliseum and see what you remember. By the way, all of these quests, like, I think there's going to be 3 duties that unlock from this, like 3 trials. But aside from that, there's nothing else that happens in these quests. So if you're not very interested, just know in advance that it's going to be a lot of reading. It's funny as hell, though, but it's going to be a lot of questing and reading, so just FYI. Not a lot of content happening. Once again, Miss Moon, if you'd be so kind as to tell us what you remember. Well, like before, nothing unusual happened. I felt like gambling that day, and was debating which match to observe, when a gladiator approached me from behind and confessed his undying love. Naturally, I was taken aback. I whirled about and struck the man in the face with my purse. In shock, not intentionally. Unfortunately, since I was carrying a tremendous sum of money, my purse weighed about 6 score ounces, and the blow was enough to render him unconscious. 120 ounces! Miss Moon, you are a remarkably strong woman. Which is precisely why you were targeted. Oh, it's so obvious in hindsight. The thief bore you a grudge. No, it's more than that. He hated you with passion. Sure, a lot of giant crates in all that. At the Weaver's Guild, that Sunsilk tapestries, and here too. Its crates are everywhere, Lynn. I wonder what's inside, but I don't see how we can open... Ah, of course, I still have plenty of explosives. Here, why don't you try? It'll be fun. Conspicuous crate. Nashu's delight. Many cope with grief by taking up new pursuits, such as traveling or exercise. Nashu chose to study explosives. At the heart of every crime rests a single unassailable truth, reached only by navigating a web of falsehoods and contradictions. Hearken to me now, for as a shepherd leads his flock, I shall guide you to my irrefutable conclusion. A gladiator professed his feelings, only to be rejected and physically assaulted in response, wounding his pride as a warrior and man, resenting her prowess whilst recognizing his weakness. He carries out a more feasible vengeance. He robs Yellow Moon of her weapon, the pure heart. Inspector, we found the pure heart. These strange men were sneaking around in town, and wooden crates had it. It's not what you think. We're not thieves, we're devotees. Yellow Moon is our sun and star. Is our sun and stars. We only wish to keep her safe from harm. And should she misplace an item from time to time, we'd collect it for safekeeping. Nothing untoward. You deviants are behind all the thefts. All this time you've been stalking me. What nerve? Ah, such unbridled fury, such righteous indignation. We should be glad to accept the goddess's punishment. Goddess? Devotees? Ah, but of course, that I had you inspect those crates was a stroke of genius indeed. As I was elucidating but a moment ago, those fiends are obviously the ones responsible for the recent rash of weapons thefts, as those thefts were carried by a single individual, you imbecile. Somebody, I've no idea who. Ah. Lest you've forgotten, the culprit is a duelist. He only claims his victims' weapons after defeating them in single combat. If your powers of observation are as great as you claim, you should have deduced that those buffoons in boxes were incapable of such. I should know. I am a reporter for the Mithril Eye. My name is Ellie, and I've been investigating these incidents for weeks. Inspector Hildibrand, gentleman investigator and agent of inquiry, I presume. You're looking well for a dead man. Would you like to meet one of the duelist's victims? I'll introduce you with pleasure. You would be willing to share such precious information with me? Your generosity is commendable, Miss Ellie. May this mark the beginning of a long and beautiful friendship. Yes, very good. The name of the man is... Huh? Where in the bloody hell do you think you're going? I haven't told you anything yet. I suppose, since you're the imbecile's friend, you intend to help him. The man you want to find is an adventurer named Humphrey. At present, he can be found at the Golden Bazaar. With luck, the good inspector may find his way there by the time you arrive. If not, then so be it. I wonder what will happen when he discovers that the victim is a perpetrator as well. That's 2 cam dry bone. Let me go and also fill in my glass of soda. Shibarashi! Soda! I can already feel my power growing. I can already feel that my voice is getting more used to doing this, because I've been able to last a lot longer than yesterday, that's for sure. But I've been reading a little bit less today, though, because I've been doing some content too. But I've been talking the entire day, nonetheless. Even longer as yesterday, even. We'll see how long actually, like, it doesn't matter how long I last. At some point, I will need to stop. Because I have other things to do. Ba-ba-ba. Humphrey, we're leaving. I am Humphrey, and you're? At last, I've caught up with you. You there, young sir. I am told you are a victim of the marauding duelist. Me? A victim? How amusing. You amuse me. True, I was challenged by the duelist not long ago, but where he thought to find a whelp, he found a warrior of light instead. I defended my honor and my blade. See for yourself. You mean you won? That's amazing. Well, it was nothing compared to what I faced at Cartano. Magitech to the right of us, Magitech to the left of us. Stuck in the middle with Master Lu, we were. Core, he was a dab hand with the old magic, he was. I tried to save him, of course, but there's a limit to how many giant beasties a man can... That man is no warrior of light. Tell them, Elazar. Tell them how he lost and surrendered a sword that was not his own. Liar, scoundrel, I trusted that bastard with my father's blade, bid him take it to his smithy for restoration. Even gave him guilt to pay for it, and then he comes crawling back, snivelling and begging forgiveness for losing it in a duel, as if that's enough to settle things. Look at me, you bleeding whoreson, look at me! Me flowing golden locks are no more. I've gone bald from the stress and heartbreak. I swear to everything holy that you'll face a reckoning if you don't bring her back to me. Alright. He beat the shite out of me and took the old man's sword. I used the guilt to pay the chirurgeon. I've no idea where he or the sword is. What am I supposed to do, huh? Can't give him what I don't have unless you help me find the sword. That's what you do, right? Help people? Have you no shame? First you claim a legacy, not your own. Then you beg others to help you with problems of your own making. You will refuse this man, won't you, Inspector? And what of Elazar's flowing golden locks? How will forsaking young Humphrey help the man he has wronged? We shall begin our search for the sword by questioning the people of the Golden Bazaar. Antique swords. Oh, I haven't the foggiest about that. That traveling merchant, Judge Umpire, is the one you ought to speak with, assuming he has it left. That boy should be ashamed of himself, robbing poor Elazar of a priceless family heirloom. Just goes to show you should never trust an adventurer who claims to be a warrior of light. Thieves and trinksters, a lot of them. It may not be the most honorable solution, but perhaps you should consider giving Elazar a counterfeit blade. If the deception brings him peace in his final days, would it be so wrong? Elazar's sword wasn't much to look at, but at least it was authentic. More than a few collectors have been tricked into purchasing counterfeit relics. I'm afraid I have no knowledge of an ancient sword, at least not one I can guarantee to be authentic. You see, any wares I determine to be of dubious origins, I immediately discard in the spring east of Count Reborn. Although I have no swords for sale at present, I may have disposed of a facsimile, Jesus, that's a word, similar in design to the one you described. This presents a quandary. Though I am loath to deceive an honourable man like Elazar, a well-intentioned ruse may put his heart at ease, thus spoiling the rejuvenation of his flowing golden locks, whilst we continue to search for the genuine article. Well, if there's a sword in that spring, it won't remain there for long. It's one of the more convenient sources of fresh water for the common folk in Count Reborn. We should endeavour to be more optimistic, Miss Ellie. Like me. Or you should, sorry. I say we search the spring first before declaring all to be lost. Bobbidi-beep-bop. Let me go and drink something again. While I bump into the skybox. The invisible wall in the sky. Keeping us trapped in the simulation. It occurs to me that I am not yet fully recovered from my accumulated injuries. It would not be prudent to immerse my body in water. Not without first coating it with a liberal application of salamander oil. Oil, that is. Indeed, on many an occasion, my dearest mother tended my childhood scrapes just so. You understand the importance of physical rehabilitation, yes? Then you can assist me by pouring the oil all over my body. Salamander oil. A thick, sticky oil collected from the underbelly of a river-dwelling salamander. Ah, this comforting scent as though I'm a child in her arms. Quickly now, before it dries, knead the oil into my aching flesh. The pain multiplies manifold. Gently now, gently. Oh God, yes, at last. My muscles slacken and soften. The warmth spreads and this pain becomes pleasure. WTF. Right there, yes. Keep doing that just like that. Like, oh, yes. Now once more, with feeling. Ah, never before have I received such splendid ministrations. Now then, into the spring. You as well, my good woman. Muddy pebble. And I found Nasher's just always falling asleep. A holy pot. I cannot use this if I don't have a target, right? Yeah, I need a target to use repelling shot. You've been productive. Excellent. May I see what you have found? Werfer's bottle, this is not the sort you're looking for. Useless rock. A completely useless and unremarkable rock. Come now, what were you expecting? A rock that keeps curls away? Irrelevant potsherd. Well, at least you didn't pick up a rock at random like some people. Oh my god, this is so good. No sign of the sword Jajampa mentioned, I see. Ah! Now I'm all wet. What was that anyway? Did something cause you to... Once again, my instincts have guided us to our quarry. That I had to search that section of the spring was a stroke of sneeze. Inspector, it's bad for your health to conduct investigations in those clothes. I'll go to Ulda and I'll fetch you some new ones. How thoughtful of you, Nashu. While you're there, purchase a few bottles of hair tonic for Elazar as well. The newest, most potent blend you can find. Isn't it wonderful, my friend? Soon all of Elazar's woes will be no more. Also have a Phoenix down, which you cannot use during battle. But aside from that, you can use it to revive somebody. But I'm just going to throw it away, because it's just a useless thing in my inventory. Basically. As promised, I return to you your father's ancient blade. Aye, it is, sir. Every chip and scratch just as I remember. God's bless you, sir. I never expected you would go to such a length for two strangers without a thought of reward. Altruism is a rare trait these days. 'Tis common enough if you know where to look. A gentleman recognizes the good in every soul, and understands that none deserve to be forsaken. Spoken like a true gentleman, though your garments beg to differ. Inspector, I've brought you a change of clothes. I also bought a supply of tonic from this peddler I met in Pearl Lane. Excellent work, Nashu, if you would just bring me that case. Inspector? Inspector Hildibrand? There seems to be something lodged in my forehead. Could it be a missive from an adoring admirer? The author neglected to pen her name. I shall come to claim the collector's blade. It's supposed to be flattering. No, you. It's supposed to be intimidating. The duelist wrote this. He's daring you to stop him. A challenge for me! Oh, at last. The curtain rises. Very well. If I am to duel the duelist, I must dress for the occasion. I, Hildibrand, agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, accept your challenge. He's incredible, so bold, so majestic, just like a warrior of light. No, a gentleman of light. He is exceptionally something. Come on, Inspector Hildibrand, you look amazing. Hildibrand. Oh, we get more. This is far from the strongest of swords. Blue skies and a rolling desert. How much longer must I seek the blade of legend? As I get some filtered water. Water and water and water, water and water and water, water and water and water, water and water. There's even more. Bow. Challenge accepted, my worthy opponent. You shall not claim the blade. With me, let us call it what it is, genius. I shall bring you to justice. Wait, you wish to duel with weapons, not wits? This bridge hardly seems appropriate for such an epic battle. And then we get a tiny little thing still. It's been a while since I did this, so I don't remember all of this stuff. Hey, I know that spear. That's the one I found buried with the pumpkins. Pumpkins sort of remind me of, nope, it's gone. Never mind. Alright, my friends, that is the first part of a lot of parts of Hildibrand. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Justa. I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, and next episode we're going to go into even more Hildibrand. Goodbye.